Here looking at the M-Lemon VR silicone case cover plus controller straps covers for the MetaQuest 3 or MetaQuest 3S. As you can see, I have the silicone strap on. It's really easy to install. You just pretty much wrap it around the cover. It has the cutouts for the camera lenses and things like that. And this just prevents the scuffs or marks from getting on the MetaQuest 3 itself. So it's a nice little silicone cover for it. You also get the included silicone face mask. Now, there's pros and cons to the silicone face mask. Obviously, it kind of goes on the MetaQuest 3 like this, and it is more sweat resistant than the fabric default one that comes with MetaQuest 3. So therefore, your sweat kind of will beat up and fall off it instead of get absorbed in the fabric. But for me, I don't like silicone pressing against my skin. I actually have issues with silicone pressing against my skin. So I wasn't able to keep this on just because my skin's a little more sensitive to silicone. So I kept the fabric cloth one on MetaQuest 3, although you could just as easily use this one if this one works for you. This one is sweat proof better, so your sweat doesn't absorb into the cloth of the MetaQuest 3 one as well. Now, something interesting about the controller straps is, let me show you here. You would take off your default controller straps by pressing this kind of button at the top here, and then you put on these covers, which go over the battery, which are black for your MetaQuest 3. And then after you put the covers on, then you would put the silicone sleeve on. And the silicone sleeve looks like this and has a hand strap. You just kind of slide the controller in and it lines up to where, you know, the thumb part goes through the hole. So it goes on just like this. And you notice how it has this little compartment area here that you could pop open and have easy access to the battery without having to actually take the whole silicone cover off. So that's a nice feature. The silicone does feel kind of nice on the hand. It's more anti-skid, anti-slip than the plastic controller itself. But one thing I noticed about the hand strap is when you pull the hand strap around and you thread it through the top here where the strap goes, I found that my hands tended to be a little big. So when I was pulling the strap around and trying to give it some grip to grip onto my hand, I can't pull it. I have to pull too tight to where it squeezes my hand a little too much. So to me, this strap needed to be a little longer. It'll work fine if you have smaller, thinner hands, but I had trouble with this strap because I had to pull it so tight, it was crushing my hand to get to reach the Velcro on the other side. So that's just one thing I noted, that it was meant for thinner hands. The strap just did not fit me comfortably. It did not come around to the Velcro without being a little too tight on my, my hand, crushing my hand a little bit on the strap part. But if you have thinner hands, you won't have any problem with it. And if you want to protect your VR controller, and if you want to protect your MetaQuest 3 from scuffs and things like that, then the silicone cover is a decent option. So this is the M-Lemon VR MetaQuest 3 cover, plus it has the silicone eye cover that's more sweat proof than the default cloth. Plus you get the controller covers. And again, the controller covers do give you easy access to the battery, so you don't have to take the silicone covers off to change the battery. One thing I noticed on both hands though, the straps were a little bit too tight for my hands. They're meant for smaller, thinner hands. And so that's something that they could improve. They need to have the straps become a little bit longer so that way the Velcro can line up better without crushing my hand a little too much. Oh, and before I forget, they came with these really awesome face shields that you could put on the cover, and so that these go over so that your sweat gets on these and absorbs on these, and these are disposable and you could just get rid of them. So if you basically want to share your VR headset and take turns with friends, this is a great way to make sure that it's kind of clean between each person's use and you don't have to worry about somebody's sweat touching somebody else's face. These are great little shields that it comes with for the Meta